Hello fellow YouTubers. I don't usually make this sort of video, but I bought a Sport Glide a couple of years ago. One of the things I felt would enhance it was having footboards on it. I realised that you could make Fatboy footboards from an M8 fit quite simply, and I've not seen any videos on YouTube explaining the process, so I thought I'd quickly do a quick video showing how they can be fitted. All you have to do is buy the Fatboy footboards and the footboard assemblies, and bingo, you're in business. These are all the nice new bolts and springs supplied by Harley. These two small ones here we're going to use to bolt that bracket onto the left hand foot assembly. Okay, so these pieces of the left hand side footboard assembly, I'm doing this one-handed because I'm holding my phone, but if you can see the two holes in that bracket there, this will sit in there like that, and that's where the spline for your gear change lever will go through that hole. So first job I think I'll do is bolt that on to that piece. Now here you can see I've tightened the bracket that holds the spline for the gear lever onto the footrest bracket. I did use Loctite on those two Allen bolts, even though there seems to be some sort of thread lock on there from Harley Davidson, but better to be safe than sorry. Now I'm doing the left hand side first, and first job is to remove this bolt from the gear lever. I have loosened it off already, so I'm just going to take that out. Pop it in my pot there. Remove the gear lever. Now there is a plastic washer on the end there, and another little rubber washer behind it. Don't know if you can see those two, so we'll take them off. Chuck them both in there. Then we pull the spline out, just tuck it away out of the way. Now there's two bolts that hold this, the original lever on. Excuse all the grunting, but I'm laying on the floor. You can see there's one bolt here and one bolt here to be removed. I have already loosened them with the Torx. And right, I'll take those off next, then we can see what we got. And that's what you're left with once you've taken that foot peg assembly off. You've got lying on the floor down there. Right, these are the two new bolts with some Loctite on them. There's the new bracket to take the footboards, and I'm just going to offer it up there so you can see. Basically that's how it goes on. Unfortunately, as I'm doing it with my phone, I'm going to need both hands to bolt it in place, but it's quite a simple operation. Now you can see the two bolts are tightened well and truly in the new bracket, and next job I'm going to clean this spline up, give it a little light coating of grease before I refit it. Okay, so I've greased up that spline, going to push it back in place, and then don't forget there's the O-ring which I've cleaned up, and that's going on there, then the rubber washer in front of it, like so. I'm not going to fit the gear lever yet until I get the footboard on and then work out the most comfortable position for it. Okay, next step. This is the lovely brand new footboard. So we've got the pin and a spring and a clip to go on the end of the pin. I've just got to work out how it all goes together. Right, that's the footboard on, now in position. As I said before, I'm not going to bother putting the gear lever on until I've done the other side and work out the most comfortable position. I couldn't actually do this manoeuvre and film with one hand, but basically you've got this pin going through the footboard. Start from this end, this is the front, and it goes through that spring there. I'll show you on the other footboard how to do this. The spring has got a short end and a long end. You press the short end into the hole in the footboard, and then the long end you're going to have to twist and stick into this little recess here, and you put the securing clip, this clip on the far end of it. Well, I'm just going to show you on the other footboard where the spring clip goes. You have a long end and a short end. The short end goes in that hole, and then you put the pin through, lift the floorboard up and bend that spring down, locate that longer end into the bracket under the floorboard. Okay, so this is the footrest bracket on the right hand side. I decided to do this one second because I think it looks like it's going to be an easier operation. I have been told that this can be a bit of a problem if you've got the standard exhaust, but I've got the Vance & Hines big radius, so I'm hoping it's all going to fit. So first job is taking off those two bolts. So that's where we've removed the last footrest bracket. This is the new one here, and the two new bolts. I'll put a bit of Loctite on them, and now I'm just going to fit them. So that's the second footboard bracket fitted. I probably didn't explain the spring thing too well. Now, as I said, there's the footboard. The small end of the spring will go into that hole there, and the larger end, when you fit the footboard on, has to come into that bracket and then round into that recess. You can't really see it very clearly in there, but you have to do this manoeuvre while you're actually fitting the footboard itself. Okay, I think this shows it better. This is the right hand footboard. You can see that spring, the short end is going into the footboard, the long end there, it's got to be prized into that hole. I did it on the other side before I pushed the pin all the way through. So there's the right hand footboard fitted. Looking pretty good, I reckon. Final thing is to put your gear lever back on, and don't forget, put a boot on, not your trainers. Make sure your boot fits under the gear lever. I know it's stating the obvious, but I nearly forgot. And really, without any instructions, that was quite a simple job putting both on, and I think they make the bike look a hell of a lot better. And from past experience with my Fatboy, I know they're going to be very comfortable.